Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy OG Black. Smash, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, man. Remember, guys, this is all educational. I hope you guys don't get into this life. I hope you guys don't want to become what OG Black once was. The whole purpose of my show, guys, once again, is to make sure you guys get the news and not get the news that everyone talks about. We all know that Metro has a minigun. We all know that Metro has special forces. We all know stuff like that. We know that El Señor El Mayo is on the run and things are happening. But let's get into depth into the real stuff that's happening in Sinaloa, in Michoacan, in Jalisco, in Tijuana, in Juarez, in Zacatecas, in Sonora. Let's give people the news, what we really want to hear, guys, the stuff that no one talks about. And I'm going to give it to you guys right now. The other day, somebody was killed in Jalisco. He was an important person of El Mayo's group, and I'm going to get into it more into this because a lot of people have been asking me, OG Black, what's going on with El Mayo's organization, El Señor? To tell you guys the truth, a lot of people, and I'm one of them, I never thought the reign of El Señor would be over. I thought this man would leave it to somebody. I really thought the Chapitos would end up taking the banner because his sons have evidently let him down and let out half of the Mexican nation with their snitching and their ratting, but I'm here to say, man, from what I've heard from people in Mexico and what I've heard from a lot of friends and family is, anybody still tied to El Mayito, anybody tied to El Señor Mayo's organization is going down. They're going to get hunted by La Cuatro Letras. The Menores faction of Sinaloa is after them. Guano's faction is after them. A lot of people are still left from the Damaso Lopez on independent contracts that are still after whatever's left of El Mayo's people. So, OG Black's here to say, man, before anyone else says it, I feel pretty sad if you were once a member or working for El Mayo's organization. Unless you're a Chapolin and you switch sides, which a lot of people have. In the Mexican cartel world, a lot of people don't understand how easy it is to switch from one side. And it's not like the United States of America where you can just join an organization and switch sides. That don't happen here in the States, guys. I've been part of an organization since probably birth. My family in Mexico has their thing going. My family here has their thing going. But to tell you the truth, being part of this life isn't something as easy as you think it is. In Mexico, I believe there's a lot of trading because there's no morals and scruples. There's no standards, like someone would say. Even thugs have to have standards. And that's been stripped and taken away from Mexico for a while now by these criminals, by these thugs, by most of these guys that are running the nation of Mexico. And I'm going to get into why I think El Mayo's going down, and I'm going to give you my opinion and the proof that I have. Over the last month, El Mayo's lost pretty much every head organization guy that he has. And I'm not talking about his minions, and I'm not talking about guys on the lower rankings. I'm not talking about guys that are middle management. I'm talking about top notch Plaza bosses that he's had for over 20 years. The other day, they busted Jacobo. A lot of people don't know about that family, the Jacobios. The Jacobios have been around since my dad and them were around. It's a crazy thing, man. They've been around 20, 30 years running that plaza with no impunity, no problems, quiet to a mug. Another guy that fell that I'm talking about today, and you guys probably heard him in the news, is el Señor Polo. Um, from my understanding, he was killed in Jalisco. He was driving, it looked like a Chevy Cruze. Couldn't tell, mid-model sedan, new. A lot of people say that he was brought and caught up in a crossfire, that he was attacked, and that, and things happened. To tell you the truth, um, a lot of people will say, well, El Señor Mayo does this, El Señor Mayo does that, El Señor Mayo has control of the Venezuela drug trade, El Señor Mayo has control of the Colombian drug trade. Guys, OG Black's here to tell you the truth, man. Don't get it fucked up. Don't get it twisted. Nobody will ever have control of a drug route with a certain country. The Chapitos have a good rapport with the Colombians. They have a good rapport with the Venezuelans. They have a good rapport with the Argentinians. They have a good rapport in Europe. and Senor Mayo and all of them are not the only ones with the connections, and I'll give you a good example. How would you want to work for a guy that at the end is going to turn your ass in as soon as he can? As soon as the U.S. government and Mexican government asks for your ass, he turns you in. I'll give you another example of guys that in Senor Mayo right now, and I'm not picking on Senor Mayo, and I'm not picking on the Mayo Zambada family, and my respects to them for what they've done, but I'll tell you the truth. Omega, El Russo, top-notch comandantes of his, kicked out to Sonora. You know why? So El Sabe, so the Salazar, so the Garibay Felixes could get his ass. I'm going to give you a good example of how El Mayo Zambada works. If you guys know, Edgar Guzman his death was attributed to the Beltran Leyvas at first, which was incorrect. The true story with that is that Macho Prieto was in charge of the Sinaloa head cartel's security region at that moment. Edgar decided to come into town when the town was supposed to be closed. He didn't tell his dad. He sure as hell didn't tell Macho Prieto. He sure as hell didn't tell Mayo because he thought he could do whatever he want. Macho Prieto saw him. He matched the convoy of the Beltran Leyvas. He matched the convoy of the Zetas, and guess what? Macho Prieto wasn't the type to ask names. He shoots first, asks names last. At the end, people are like, well, how do you know that Macho Prieto? And I'm going to give you guys a good example why my family believes and knows for a fact they said that Macho Prieto killed El Chapo's kid. There was bazookas used, okay, guys? And one of Macho Prieto's favorite things to use are bazookas. The old RPG Russian bazookas that are shot from the side. Macho Prieto loved those because he could get them on the black market for as cheap as he could get them. And he knew that, hey, they were deadly if you knew how to use them. Now I'm going to get back to El Polo. El Polo was killed in Jalisco. He's been head of Mayos faction in Jalisco for over 20 years. He was an ex-judicial del Estado, which means he's an ex-agent of the state. Him and his brother, El Güero, were great compadres of El Mayo Zambada. A lot of people know him very well. If you guys want to hear a corrido about him, an enigma norteño, everybody knows who he is. It's a great time right now for you guys to understand what's going on in Mexico, and I'm not picking on the Senor Mayo or the CDS faction. At the end, I think that the Senor Mayo is going to be losing ground, and at the end, it's going to be El Señor de los Gallos and the Chapitos fighting out for all of Mexico. It's your boy OG Black Man. I hope you guys understand what's going on. Smash, like, subscribe, and I'm going to leave you guys with a little something. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a little song of El Polo. It's his only corrido that I know that he has, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and here it goes.
Aquí les dejamos este corridazo, ya saben quién es El Polo. Dice, compa Freddy.
And you guys don't do this at home. You might end up like this guy. Shot, dead, thrown on the side of the road like a dog.
Recordando viejos tiempos, cuando ya por Sinaloa fue 29 en Julieta. La gente que lo conoce sabe bien quién es El Polo. El viejón se le respeta donde sea. 45 del 11, favorita para el hombre. Por las armas tiene un gusto. Que si le entra los balazos, solo vean mis cicatrices. Cuando me gusta hablaré mucho y no me asusto. Ando de respeto con el güero, mi hermano. El 1 y alerta, los dos patrullando. 1:19, una 9 esperando. Dale de 38 y el 22 hermano. Todos 5-7 con Culiacán y su gente. Aquí cuento con respaldo. Firmes estamos. ¡Ánimo, pariente, viejo!
Alright guys, your boy OG Black. You guys have a good one, man. I'm out.